Hi everybody, this is Oksana, and today I want to show you how to make this really simple beginner pendant. I wanted to work out something that's great for somebody trying wire wrapping for the first time, and I wanted everything about this to be accessible. Like I wanted to use wire from the craft store, so that's the wire that you're going to see me use is wire from the craft store, beads, just plain simple beads. You can probably find something like this at a craft store as well, so that everything is kind of easy to get, accessible, affordable for somebody just wanting to try wire wrapping for the first time. And this pendant is double-sided as well, and I only wanted to use one type of wire, so you don't have to buy different types of wire, different sizes or anything like that. So I think this will be really great if you are just wanting to give it a go. So if you want to see how I made these little pendants, then just keep watching. So things you are going to need for this project. Number one is wire, and I have here some wire that is easy to get from the craft store. Mine was from fusionbeads.com, but this is the same wire that you can buy at like Michael's or AC Moore, and you don't have to have this particular brand, but it typically looks like this. If you go to a craft store, you will find wire like this, and you need 20 gauge, and the gauge is the thickness of the wire. So I'm working with 20 gauge wire. This is kind of how thick it looks. And then you're gonna need some beads. So while you're in the craft store, a lot of times, especially like at Michael's, they'll have the strings of beads, and they'll be all different beads. There'll be round beads, there'll be tiny beads, but usually you can find some relatively flat beads. And they don't have to be round like mine, they could be another shape. But for a pendant that I'm making, I feel like it's easier to have a flat bead. Now for your tools. Now, Michael's at least used to, I haven't been there in a long time, but they used to sell a set of these tiny little tools that was really affordable. Now I have my own tools here that I've accumulated, but you don't need to start with these, especially if you're just trying it for the very first time. It's probably more affordable, especially if you don't know if you're going to stick with this. You know, you just want to try it and then not have spent a lot of money on it if it doesn't work out. But my tools are a little more expensive. The Zuron pliers and wire cutters I bought on Amazon. The round nose pliers are Bead Along brand, and that was from either Michael's or AC Moore. But you can just get all of your tools from a craft store. You can wait for a coupon, or you can try to find those little ones that I'm talking about. They're like a mini version of tools. I mean, they're not going to be the easiest to use, but if you're just trying to see if this is something you will like to do or not, then it's probably the best way to go about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to cut myself a long piece, like a foot. So roughly a 12-inch piece of wire, and then I'm going to take my bead and I'm going to slide it on about halfway, and then I'm going to bend it up like this. I'm just kind of straightening this wire out. No, it still wants to curve, so it doesn't really matter. So it looks like this. And what I'm going to do now, slide it right up, is I'm going to press down on this wire, and I'm going to make a curve. So I'm pressing down on it to keep it flat, to allow myself to make this curve like this. So that's going in one direction, and now I'm going to press and make it in the other direction. And you can do whatever kind of little waves or curves you want, but mine looks like this. Yours does not have to look exactly like this. It is totally up to you. So what I'm going to do now, as I get to the top here, is I'm going to curve this wire that I've been working with around this one that's sticking straight out. So I'm taking it and I'm bringing it all the way around. See that? Just like this. And there's another way that I'm going to show you. This is going to be the bail. The bail is what the necklace goes through. There's another way to do it. I'm going to show you this way first because it's easier. And then I'll show you the other one that you can try next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this, and I'm using my fingers because I find it easier, but if you want to bend around something, I'm just making a curved shape here for my bail, just like this. And I'm actually going to swap places here with these two wires so that this wire kind of continues to go on this side because it had crossed over. So what we have going on here is we have this wire continuing here on the left side. And what we're going to do, we're going to hold this bail so it doesn't get, moved out of place. We're just going to hold it where it is, kind of nice and centered. And take this wire, bring it up like this. See that? And now we're going to cut it just right here. I'll show you in a second. So what you want here after you cut it is you want just a little piece here, just like this. You don't want it to go all the way up to here. You don't want it to be right here. You just want this little piece like this. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take our pliers and we're going to squish it. And one thing about this type of wire that's kind of a negative is that the pliers can scratch off the color, as you can kind of see. And here, no sharp wire ends are sticking out because we kind of closed up that loop, essentially. I'm actually going to try and close it up just the slightest bit more. There we go. There, so it's like a completely closed little loop. All right, and now it's up to you what you do with this wire that's going down. I'm going to make a little swirly, and you can cut it short and just have a tiny little swirly, or you can cut it long like mine and make, a slightly bigger swirly. It's totally up to you. But if you want this to be maybe a double-sided pendant, so on one side it's got these two little swirls, and on the other side it's got, another little swirl. So I'm grabbing the end of my wire with my round nose pliers, and I'm turning it, and it makes a little loop like this. And then I'm just going to keep turning it. I'm just going to move it a little bit this way because as I turn it, it moves in that direction. And it's up to you. You can make a really tight curl where it goes right up against each other, or you can leave space, like I'm leaving a little bit of space right there. Up to you. So here's my little curl. So this could be one side of the pendant, and then this could be the other side. So now I'm going to show you how to do the bail slightly differently. It's a little harder because we're going to twist two pieces of wire together, but I feel like it's easy enough to where once you made this, you can just try it one slight variation. And I figured I'd put it in this video just because it's a quick, easy thing. I probably shouldn't make a whole separate video for it. All right, so this time I'm going to go a little quicker since I'm doing the same thing here. And then I'll just slow down when I get to the bail. So again, sliding my bead on, bending this up, looks like this. And then I'm taking this wire, and I'll try and do something a little different this time. So I'm pressing down and making a loop, and then I am pressing down, and this time I'm gonna make it make it go in the same direction instead of the opposite direction. So it'll look like this. And now that I get up here to the top, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bend this just a little bit. And I have these two wires kind of at an angle to each other like this. Like if I hold it straight up, it's like this. And here's a part that's tricky. If like one wire's straight and the other wire's angled, this doesn't work as well. So you want to take them with your fingers and you want to just kind of twist them together. And sometimes one wire starts wrapping around the other wire instead of just twisting perfectly. And that's why this one is a little trickier, I think. And the key is to just really keep them at this little angle to each other. If one wire starts to get straighter, then this wire is going to start to wrap around it, and you're not going to have that nice look of twisted wire. So this is something that you might have to just practice a little bit. But I think this is just a nice little touch and something you can do once you perfect kind of the other pendant. This can be a nice new twist. So then I'm bending it into the shape of a veil, like this. And I'm just taking one of these wires, just any one you want, and I'm wrapping it around. And then I'm trimming it like this. So here's a closer look. See, it's like a little hook that's going around. And then I'm grabbing the tip of that little hook and I'm turning it inwards like this. And I'm just gonna shutting it closed like that. See how it's like a little loop that's closed around this portion? Here's your front. I'm just gonna straighten my veil. Got a little crooked. There we go. Here's the front. And then here's the back. And again, you can make any kind of little twist you want. Just trimming off my wire. And I'm just gonna grabbing it with my pliers, I'm just gonna make a little loop. And there we go, just like that. Here's the back, and here's the front, and here is my other pendant. So that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.